beings. Welcome, my lovely Libras, Scorpios, and Sagittarius. We're going to do a love reading for you today. And what we're going to do in this particular reading is we're going to take a look at your person and what is going on inside their head. What are they thinking in regards to you? Okay. So I want you to keep in mind this is a general message, which means that if you find the messages here today don't exactly resonate with your situation, don't panic. It just means you need to subscribe to this channel so that over the coming days, the message that drops for you, you'll be the first one to know about it. I want to welcome you all to my channel. Thank you if you have joined me here for the first time. And for those of you returning Libras, Scorpios, and Sagittarius, thank you for all of your support. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching until the end. And I welcome you back today. All right, let's get some messages on the board for my lovely Libras, Scorpios, Sagittarius so that they know what is going on inside their person's head in regards to them. You will need to clearly see your person's image, your person in your mind's eye as I do the shuffling here. And we will focus in on your person. But first, I'm going to do some oracle card messages for each sign before we jump into your person's head with the tarot. All right, so let's keep that in mind. So first up is Libra, my lovely Libras. Let's get some messages on the board, Spirit, for my beautiful Libras. Let's take a look at what's going on inside their person's minds in regards to them. And let's start with some oracle card messages here for my beautiful Libras regarding their love life and what they need to know. All right, so first off, Libra, we have, instead of taking on the fear of others, I reflect love. Next up, when I lead from a place of love, people respect me. Move this over here. And then finally, Libra, we have my friendships support me, nourish me, and inspire me. All right, so right off the bat here, Libra, with instead of taking on the fear of others, I reflect love. And when I lead from a place of love, people respect me. Libra, this is speaking specifically to the fact that fear has been interfering in your love life as of recent. All right. So, fear either of what you're seeing in regards to your relationship and what has been happening or not happening that you think should be happening at this point in time. And also, for some of you, it's a fear of not feeling like you're ready to be in a relationship, a deep committed relationship. You have fears in regards to that. You have fears as to either whether you're ready or whether you deserve it. Okay, so Spirit is speaking here, Libra, to you about the fact that that fear is reflecting through very strongly, even though you may feel like you have done a good job of hiding that fear from the one that you desire, they can pick up on it because it is coming through loud and clear. That fear is talking louder in this case than actually the love that you may be feeling for your person. Okay. And that is causing a kink. It's like throwing a kink into the relationship here. It's causing issues, it's causing disruptions that you don't even realize, because for many of you, your person is looking at you and saying, well, Libra has some hesitation here and I don't know if I should go all in, because that type of hesitation in their mind is kind of saying to them, well, if Libra's not sure, then Libra may turn and walk away at some point, leaving me kind of stranded. stranded on this lonely island, right? And so your fears and the way that your fear is reflecting through at your time at this time to your person is causing them to fear the connection with you. Fear going deep into this connection with you where they may have had no fear. They may have identified you, you know, as a person that they want to be with, and now your fear is making them second guess. So spirit is talking here, Libra, about you addressing those places of fear, resolving what is causing that fear so that you can instead lead from a place of love. The love, the respect, and everything else will be shown back to you once you start to do it. But when you have this scourge, I'll call it, because that's the word I'm hearing, scourge of fear kind of washing over your relationship, it causes people, this person, to act maybe in disrespectful manners towards you, or it causes this person to act in ways that are disrespectful to the connection that you share with them. Okay, so in areas where situations for some of you Libras where there may have been a third party introduced, if we were to trace back the roots of it, we would find that your fear coming through very loudly caused this person to have doubts. And then one thought leads to another, and one action leads to another. And then the next thing you know, things are out of control. Fear is like a parasite that is ripping through. All right. And my friendships support me, nourish me, and inspire me. And what that's also saying is, for some of you, Libra, is that don't forget about spending that quality time with others in your life that support and nourish you. So, you know, especially feminines oftentimes get into connections with, you know, with our person, and we forget about our friends. We don't forget about them, but we don't make time for them. We don't engage with them. We don't call them like we used to. We don't do those things. And I'm not saying that you should concentrate on your friends to the disruption of your connection, but think about how balanced you are right now between your connection and your friendships. And think about when you do speak to your friends, are you only really discussing your relationship and your relationship issues? Or are you really connecting with your friends? The connecting in the ways that had them or made them acquire these friendships with you in the first place. So we're talking about a lack of balance in a lot of ways. So fear versus faith, and friendships versus relationship. We need to understand that we have to meet somewhere in the middle on these. Yes, it's damn near impossible to eradicate all fear in your life, right? You're going to have fear of something on some level. However, fear doesn't need to be taking up all the space in your mind, right? It needs to be such a small little seed there that it's not the the whole thought process. Your whole thought, oh, why can I not get this out? I'm sorry, Libra. Your whole thought process should not be rooted in fear. Fear should not shape the beautiful feelings and thoughts that you have for your person. Fear, yes, it's almost normal for every human being to have fear on some level, but that fear should be the low, low, low murmur, so low that you can barely hear it. Whereas the love, the friendships, the support, the the inspiration that you are receiving from those connections is what's speaking loud and clear, is what's fueling your thoughts, is what's fueling your action, because it's then that you will see that positive state reflecting more into the connection that you share with your person and with others. All right, I'm not going to take these up. I was going to take these up, but let's go ahead again deeper with the tarot as promised, Libra. And let's dig into specifically what's going on in your person's mind, okay? Because from what we just saw, Libra, with the oracles, there's been a lot going on for many of you. And we need to take a look at, in some cases, how it is as far as the fear has taken over and caused major disruptions. Has this changed what your person has been thinking about you or has thought about you in the past? Or is your person still in that state of love for you, but because of all the fear-based actions taking place on both your parts, now you're looking at a much different situation than was there originally? How has everything impacted the potential for your relationship to be all that you want it to be, Libra? That's what I'm saying here. All right. So, Spirit, let's get some tarot card messages on the board for my beautiful Libras. Let's take a look specifically, Spirit, at what's going on inside their person's mind and heart in regards to their Libra. First off, we have the 10 of Pentacles in the reverse, followed by the 7 of Cups. We have the Moon in the reverse, and the 5 of Cups. All right, so yeah, lots happening here, Libra, and unfortunately, many of you are on a roller coaster ride as far as your relationships are concerned, from what I can see in these cards. You've been going through a lot, and again, we go back to the messages that just came out with the oracles, where we were talking about how fear has come from this small seed and erupted to create all this discord in life, in your love life with the one that you desire at this time. So with this 10 of Pentacles in the reverse and the 7 of Cups, unfortunately, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, that your person is in a state right now where, for many of you, they're looking at other options. They're looking at third parties, and third parties came up when I was talking about the oracle card messages, and it's coming up here again. The tarot is doubling down on that. That just lets me know, for many of you, there is a third party going on alongside the relationship that you share with your person, right? Your person has, in some way, shape, or form, come to the stance that you, Libra, may not be their happily ever after person. You may not be that one that they need to build a love connection with. Okay, now does that mean that that can't change and forevermore, that cannot be the thing that happens in the end? No, I'm not saying that. Things are fluid, but what I am saying is the energy at this time points to that reality that I just spoke, and that reality is being ushered in many ways by the fear that is present in your connection on both parts. Fears that are emanating from you, which have energetically impacted the connection to the point where now you have triggered this person's fears. So they are shutting down, pushing away, inviting in others. Okay. And with the moon here in the reverse, what I'm seeing is for many of you, they're not even being secretive about that. This is happening in broad daylight, in your face. It is something that they're not even trying to hide. So the respect factor is also not there, right? So back to the oracle card message, when I lead from a place of love, people respect me. Okay. Not so when you're leading from a place of fear. All right. And so, again, this lack of respect, this in your face, this is not a secret. They don't intend to hide their actions in order to help you, not have to deal with it in public. And what I mean by that is, you wouldn't want them to hide it, of course. You don't even want it to be happening. You don't want it to be occurring. But the fact that it's occurring and it's in your face points to the fact that they don't care who sees. And for the feeling that I'm getting here is that many people that you may know, who you may be friends with, those same people see your person gallivanting with other people. So it's blatant disrespect is what I'm getting here, right? Which ultimately leads to them handing you this huge cup of sorrow and disappointment. All right? And some of you are already stuck in that state, but for many of you this is to come, right? They're just handing this out. And um if you allow or you take up one of these cups, so in other words, if you take up one of these cups, um and say, okay, I forgive you, I let's do better, let's do this, let's reconcile, then the cycle continues. So unfortunately for many of you Libra, at least at this time, I will say this situation is dire from the standpoint of things working out differently or things progressing differently going forward. But I'm going to dig in here with my clarification deck, because given this information, Libra, what I want to see now from spirit is an indication of whether or not this is a situation that can be turned around successfully, and if so, how, right? Because sometimes we know in life damage is done and there's nothing that can be done to repair it. Like, it's just damaged, right? And then in other cases, there's been damage, but some type of action or actions can be taken, which can lead to successful repair and regrouping, right? So that's what I want from spirit. As I shuffle here, spirit, let's give us a path for our Libras, because we don't want to leave you with an unfortunate message if that doesn't have to be the case, Libra. All right. So as I shuffle these cards, Libra, please go ahead and consider at this time, if you have not already, subscribing to my channel and joining the tribe here, because we give these types of insightful readings on a regular basis, and I want you to be able to take advantage of this information going forward. All right, Spirit, let's give our Libras the way forward here in regards to this connection and this terrible set of circumstances that we've been discussing. First off, we have Temperance in the reverse. That is followed by the King of Cups. And the Page of Swords in the reverse. So very interesting. as I went to pull these off the top of my deck after I finished shuffling, this King of Cups, like for instance, here's my deck and I was pulling them off this way. This one was flipped around. So when I pulled it off, it was showing me the back. So your person has their back to you in many ways right now. And especially with this being the King of Cups, from an emotional standpoint, they have their back towards you, right? And I'm also hearing here that many of them are playing games now based on your emotions. They're playing, like they're masterminding these emotional games to keep you stuck in a cycle. This has become something very ugly to you, but it is a game being played, and it's all being played here from that lack of balance that we were talking about earlier with the oracle cards. um Libra, this lack of balance has led to these games. Sorry about that, Libra. I got cut off by a phone call. I apologize. But as I was saying, this lack of balance has, that we were talking to earlier, this lack of balance between fear, this lack of balance in your life of maybe um concentrating on your person to the exclusion of those that really support you, which leaves you feeling very unsupported in a lot of ways, um, is is totally throwing things off here, right? And from what I'm seeing, will continue until you can get a handle on that. But with this Page of Swords in the reverse, Spirit is saying here, don't get caught up with using your words in with your person. Don't get caught up with using your words in a very immature and a way. So in other words, like, number one, in anger, you don't want to be spouting off and saying things that you come to regret later, because that puts you in a cycle of trying to apologize or feeling regretful over things that have come out of your mouth. And it continues to give this game player the upper hand here, okay? Because they're able to keep you under their foot, so to speak. And excuse me, excuse me. So my throat just closed up, telling me that the way you are expressing yourself is impacting how successful you can be here as well, right? And you also want to look at how you're expressing yourself emotionally to your person. Are you giving up way too much of your heart and mind, you know, through your words? Are you, or sometimes it is better to hold back. And in this case, what Spirit is saying, it is better to hold back from just telling your person everything and anything. And because your person is in this cycle of playing games with you, you may be expressing yourself in a very sincere manner, but they are using it against you. It's a game, okay? And the more you say, the more you tell, the more they play this game, all right? So, for many of you, what I'm seeing here is it's necessary to pull back. Um, for many of you, if you are actively connected to this person at this time, it may be necessary for you to take a break, get yourself balanced, and get this whole fear based decision making and thinking under control before you try to re engage. You may just, for a lot of you, make the decision to end this connection and move on to something else. And to be honest with you, Libra, that may not be bad advice. All right. That may not be a bad decision on your part. Just depends on how much has actually taken place. There are many Libras out here in this collective So some of you may be at the beginning of this cycle, and some of you may be deep, deep, deep in the cycle, right? So you'll have to make that individual decision based on where you are in this whole cycle. But in and of itself, Libra, I don't see it turning around. What I see is it's going to take you digging deep to turn things around, period, either for this connection or either just for your love life in general. You got to deal with the imbalance and the fear that is happening. All right, Libra, to be forewarned is to be forearmed, is what I like to say when it comes to negative news. I am a straightforward reader, so I don't sugarcoat because I think instead of giving you a nice flowery message, it is better to tell you what Spirit is saying truthfully so that you can actually make the changes and do what needs to be done for your own best interest, right? All right, Libra, I hope you decide to stick around with us here. But should you decide to leave at this time, please also subscribe on your way out. And thanks for your attention to the messages here today. So, next up is Scorpio, my beautiful Scorpios. Let's get some messages on the board for my lovely Scorpios about what's going on in their love life as of this current time. What is happening, Spirit? What messages need to come forward for my lovely, beautiful Scorpio souls? Let me give a few more shuffles here to these oracle cards and we'll get started, Scorpio. You got cards jumping out all over, so I know there's some stuff happening here, Scorpio. Whenever the cards start just jumping out of my hand in a block of like 8 cards at a time, that means there's a lot of energy pushing its way forward. All right. Scorpio, your first message is I trust that my intuition is always leading me in the right direction. And I don't know, other than answer a better message because Scorpios are incredibly intuitive. And next up, Scorpio, we have I accept the gifts I've been given as a high service to the world. And finally, instead of taking on the fear of others, I reflect love. All right, Scorpio, so this is very much talking about your intuition versus your intuition of what's happening around you and what's best for you versus what you're seeing others display. So your intuition leads you correctly with correct information, even when you try to deny that what you know and feel in your bones is the truth. It's leading you correctly, whether you want to look at that as fact or not. And, you know, this isn't like with Libra, the message was about their internal fears. This isn't about Scorpio's internal fears. This is about how you're seeing fear reflected out of others. So, if Scorpio, you are indeed, your person is a Libra, then your readings are really, their reading that I just gave is really syncing up with what we see here for you, seeing that fear come. So it's almost, but more broadly, what I see for you, Scorpio, is where I'm just seeing this scene where you in these present days have the ability to look at your person and see what their fears are just by gazing upon them, right? You can feel it, you can see it, you can hear it. And your intuition is kicking in very strongly. And Spirit is saying to you, this is a gift. This is a gift that we have given you to be able to see these things in others. And in particular, in that other, your person that's the closest to you, right? Because they've given you these gifts to be used as a high service. It's not to be used in manipulation. It's not to be used to, you know, call others out and or make others feel less worthy. It's not to be used even to demonize another person. It's to be used as a high service. You view these things, and spirit is asking you to view them through the lens of understanding, the lens of empathy towards that person, right? Because you have something that puts you at an advantage, your intuition and how closely you're tuned into the divine and able to have this information at your avail. It gives you an advantage over others, and so use that advantage to nurture and to build others, right? So I think as we get into the tarot, we may see a theme of that building with your person in a positive way, and not in a way that tears them down, right? Even when they're not acting in a way that you would like them to act, or maybe they haven't attained a level of understanding that you have. That doesn't mean that they're lesser than you. That means simply that they're on their path in a very different space than you. And that can be okay, because what I'm hearing here, Scorpio, is that for many of you, you have an expectation that your person, your right person, needs to be in the exact same understanding and space that you're in, right? And spirit is saying, no, 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 no. That's not the case. And that's not going to be the case. What it's going to be is you're in different places, but you can stand in those different places as one solid couple, as one solid unit, right? And you'll learn from them and they'll learn from you, but mainly you are able to use your intuition and your understanding of what they're seeing and what they're going through and what place that they're in, to use it to steer the relationship in a way that is positive for the both of you. All right. Let me get a few more shuffles in on these cards, Spirit, as I ask you to show me through the tarot what Scorpio's person, what's going on inside their head? Where are they in their heart and mind as far as Scorpio is concerned? What's happening in Scorpio's situation that Scorpio needs to know about? All right. All right, Scorpio. Your first card here is the Hierophant. That is followed by the Knight of Wands. Next up, we have the Nine of Pentacles in the reverse. And then we have the Ten of Wands. All right, Scorpio. So, oh, man. All right. Here's the first thing I see. And this will be a message for some of you. It will not apply to each one of you, but I do have two distinct messages coming through at this time. So the first one, let's start off with the one that may not be as positive for some of you, but you'll know it if once I say it, it connects to you. The Hierophant and the Knight of Wands. What I'm seeing here, Scorpio, is someone who is um they're playing the game. The word is slipping my mind. The name of, oh my God, hold on. Spirit, give me the word, please. So I'm seeing someone who's playing this game of they're a shyster basically, right? So they're riding into your life, or they have ridden into your life. They do the right things, they say the right things, they are putting forth commitment, right? It's not coming completely from a bad place. Let me say that, Scorpio. So it's not rooted in necessarily rooted in devil type energy here. This is someone who may not be able to stand on their own, let's say financially, because that's what I'm seeing. Someone who may not be able to stand on their own financially, right? And so to connect with another gives them a stable base in which they can move through the world more financially solvent. Okay. So they find, I mean, and again, these cards don't necessarily reflect love and gushy, heartfelt feelings, but the Hierophant, with its stance on commitment, pro commitment, and the Knight of Wands being that knight in shining armor that dashes in, right? This is, this person does see you as long term stability. And for some of them, they see you as long term stability on an emotional front, but there's definitely a financial implication here. Together with you financially, they can do what they need to do. They become financially solvent. They become financially able to afford their life, right? So Scorpio, for some of you, that might be just fine. You may need or want that person to rely on you. You may want that control as far as what finances give you, okay? So, to each his own. There's no judgment there. For some of you, that isn't a negative message. That's going to be just fine. For others of you, you're not going to want to deal with someone who financially is leaning on you in that way, right? So where you are and who you are and how that works for you, that's your decision. I'm just here to give you the information. So I see that for many of you, right? And for others of you, I see more of a con artist type of person who comes in, makes this offer of commitment, and rides out just as quickly as they rode in. So if you are, and how would you know that? You would know that from, this probably is not a long-standing connection, maybe someone who you recently met who does come in, is super super hella charming and has swept you off your feet, right? If you're involved in that whirlwind type of romance, right, then this may be where this is headed for you, okay? So this person sweeps in, sweeps you off your feet. Their intention, Scorpio, is to take everything they can, all right, and ride away, all right? And that leaves you with this hardship because now you, because when a person does this in a con artist type of way, now you're left trying to repair your finances, trying to pay off the things that you extended yourself in order to make possible for this person. You are, if they ran up your credit cards, if they, ran your car into the ground, if they ran off with your car, like whatever the situation is, you are now in a state of hard times. So, beware, Scorpio, if you've just started something with someone where they have literally swept you off your feet, whether that person is a feminine or a masculine, they have literally swept you off your feet. They've taken you to the highest of highs very quickly. Be aware that this person may have ill intentions. For others of you, like I said in that first message, this person may not have ill intention, but there's going to be a financial impact here because even if they don't have ill intention in this case, what it is Scorpio better keep me up the way that I want them to keep me up. And yes, they may stick around for the long term, but they're going to keep with the expectation of your coins laid out for everything, Scorpio, while not helping with the hardship that this puts you under, whether this means you got to take a second job, or you've got to now take up side hustles, or you've got to, um, borrow from this one over here and borrow from here and take a loan here. Like the things that you have to do to recover as a result of this draining to your finances is not going to put you in a good space, Scorpio. Okay. So for some of you, you have received intuitive insight, and spirit has been sending off that, hey, Scorpio, think about this now. Think about what's happening. Is this person for real? Like, this is going to put you in a hard way. Intuition has been trying to lead you, the divine has been trying to lead you in the right direction. It's very, very clear, because this person, um, especially for those of you who are not involved with a straight up con artist, this is a person who has fear. They have fear of being alone. They have a fear of falling flat on their face and not being able to progress or even take care of this month's bills, right? You're seeing this. You can reflect love without emptying out your pockets. You can reflect love and support without putting yourself in a difficult situation. There's a balance in here, again, that has to happen. And your high service to the world is, and your high service to your relationship is, for you to stay and maintain stable ground, Scorpio. Don't allow your emotions, um, you know, and what you see or may see this person going through to allow you to get yourself in a troubling financial state. Okay, because we know Scorpios, when you love deep, you love hard, right? And you can feel you can feel anxiety. And we know that financial situations, more than anything, a difficult financial situation can cause high anxiety, and you feeling that coming off of someone that you love, Scorpio, you're gonna, your instincts inside make you want to be the one that helps them move forward, like if your person is like, and this is what spirit just dropped in for me, was a situation where, you know, your person's come to you and said, hey, I've got this idea, and I know that if I just had X amount of dollars, I can really get this idea off the ground, and this is going to make us rich. We're going to be the better for it, and you're going to be the one that was holding me down, and I am going to be forever grateful and thankful to you, and making sure that you have everything you want and desire, because you came through for me with X amount of dollars at this time. Okay. And so you have to look at that, right? Because again, why are they, a grown ass person, coming to you for financial assistance? All right. And if they don't have the means to go through traditional avenues to get the money they need to start that business or launch that business idea, why is that? Have they been so irresponsible with their finances in the past that now, um, the only way they can move forward is to have someone personally come forward and do this for them? Like, what does that's a precedent that you need to pay attention to. Okay. And for those of you, again, who I was saying have come upon a con artist acting like a love connection, that's a game that those people play, especially online nowadays. And you need to be very, very aware, that that is the case. All right, so Scorpio, let's get, I'm shuffling my clarifying deck so we can get a path forward for you as well. So Spirit, let's get a path forward for my Scorpios. Um, let's get a path forward for the coming days and weeks. Spirit, what do you want them to know about this situation with this person and how they should progress? First message, Scorpio, comes through the High Priestess. Again, you are that High Priestess, Scorpio. Your intuition is so on point. And I really, really feel, because Spirit is saying it loud and clear, some of you, most of you who are watching this have been telling yourself that you're not seeing what you're seeing. And you are. Spirit wants you to know you're seeing it. Stop it. Stop closing your eyes to what Spirit is revealing to you. We have here the Eight of Swords and the Knight of Wands in the reverse. Okay, so Spirit is like, I said what I said, and I'm going to say it again. Pay attention, follow Spirit's, the divine's lead, because they are telling you exactly, they are showing each one of you in your individual situations what's happening and how you can get out of it unscathed. Secondly, you're in your head and you're overthinking Spirit's messages too much. Just let the message come through and follow the guidance that's coming directly from them. And we've given you an explicit amount of guidance here today. So don't ignore this and don't overthink it. And this Knight of Wands, yeah, we've seen him already, right? This Knight of Wands. Now he's in the reverse. He rode in, or she rode in. Sorry about that, Scorpio. Oh my God. I am blowing up my phone. My phone, not I'm blowing up my phone. My phone is being blown up by different people. So sorry. Anyways, as I was saying, pay attention to the messages coming through from the divine. Don't ignore those messages. Don't overthink those messages, for God's sake. Just act on the guidance given. And this person, this charming, sexy, beautiful person who is making your world seem like the most wonderful, delicious place, I see them here riding out when the chips are down for you, right? When you've overextended yourself, when you get yourself into hard times where you will need their help, their support, that is not going to be forthcoming. And I see that for those of you involved with individuals who are con artists and are not con artists, just that person who can't seem, you know, not can't seem, but is relying on you very heavily. They're not going to be this charming, wonderful person when the chips are down. They're not going to be helpful. They're going to be stuck in their own self interest in taking care of themselves. So even if they stay, they will be there not in a helpful capacity, but actually just leading to further, their action or lack of action will further make your hardship even worse, is what I'm seeing here, Scorpio. So be aware of this, because um, is this the price you want to pay in love? Right? You really have to think about that, is what Spirit is saying. Is this how you see yourself ending up as a result of someone else, their action and their lack of action, whether they're doing it purposely as a con artist or just as a person who is draining you financially? It is, the effect is the same. Okay, and you need to be aware of that. Is it worth all of this just to say you have someone in your life, that you have someone? So that's a decision for you to make, Scorpio. To be forewarned is to be forearmed once again in this case. All right, Scorpio. I do hope you'll stick around with us as we go into the Sagittarius messages. But if you do decide to leave us here, Scorpio, thank you for so much for showing up here today. And please subscribe on your way out. And now let's get to my very beautiful patient Sagittarius who have been patiently awaiting their messages. Thank you so much. And Spirit, let's get some messages on the board for my wonderful Sagittarius. And we're going to start up again, Sagittarius, with our Oracle card messages and dig in with the tarot like we did with Libra and with Scorpio. So, Spirit, what would you like to know? Oh my God, my words. So, Spirit, what would you like Sagittarius to know in regards to love and romance at this time and their connection with their person? Sagittarius, hold your person in your mind's eye so that the messages that come forward are for you. Hold their face in your mind's eye while we do this shuffle. Spirit, what would you like Sagittarius to know about their person and their connection at this time? Sagittarius, your first message is, I honor my self-worth by asking for what I want. Followed by, I can't control the world, but I can control how I choose to perceive it. And I release my need to be right. I am defenseless and at peace. Okay, Sagittarius. All right. So, I honor my self-worth by asking for what I want is Spirit calling on you to take a look at how are you projecting yourself, right? Because a theme that I see going through all three of these messages here today is that what's on the inside, what we're holding on to as our thoughts and our perceptions on the inside is strongly, more strongly than now than at other times, being projected on display for your person to see, right? So even when we talked about Scorpio having that intuitive insight that was so on point, even with that, you know, what it is that they're projecting, the need, like we were talking about some or a lot of our Scorpios being okay with being the one who financially leads in the situation, right? So they have attracted someone who wishes to financially take, right? So what you are projecting in the way of how you see yourself for you, Sagittarius, is what your person is picking up on. How much you love and care for yourself, what you will allow, because self-worth very straightforwardly determines what you will allow someone else to do in your life. When you will say enough is enough, when you will say, oh, not today. No, 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 not ever. If someone knows that you're not playing games, as far as not because you say, I want to be honest, so I'm going to say everything so you know I'm not playing games. We're not talking about that. We're talking about if, let's talk about a feminine dating a masculine, right? And you know, if you've been around and dating for any amount of time, you know that masculines, and I'm not trying to get on the masculines, but I'm just saying, we know that masculines, their method is to test a feminine, right? They'll test them to see what they will allow and what they won't allow, and that shapes their perception of you, right? So if they know that you are not going to put up with shit, they are either, if they decide that you are the one, they're not going to try you with shit because they know that that will get them shown to the door immediately. And so that's the type of self-worth, that protection of yourself that we're talking about, that you need here in this situation. You need to be like on some no bullshit type of vibe, right? And in doing that, you are asking for what you want. You want a situation in which someone's not trying to take advantage of you, where the person you're with is honest, where the person you are with respects you, whether you're there in person or not. They should be respectful of you behind your back, just like they are in your face, right? So by not allowing the bullshit, you are doubling down on asking for what you want. It's a way of asking without forming the question, if that makes sense. All right. Honor yourself, Sagittarius, by not allowing others to dishonor you. That's what this self-worth is talking about here for you. That's what Spirit's saying very loudly and clearly. And I can't control the world, right? So you can't control the world. But if someone is coming at you with some bullshit, you can show them the door. And that talks to how you perceive your world is going to be, right? You can control what you allow in and honor your own self worth in the process, okay? I release my need to be right. I am defenseless and at peace. So, if you are vigilant about honoring your self worth in this way that we've just discussed, you do not have to always be on guard. You don't have to be afraid of love or afraid to let anyone in, because you trust yourself to know I can open the door to someone, but if they come with that bullshit, they'll be on the other side of it very quickly. You don't need to be defensive because you trust yourself to always act in your own best interest. All right. So that's the lesson here for you, the message here and the lesson here for you from Spirit, Sagittarius, that you need to double down on in this time. Let's dig in with the tarot. So I'm interested to see what your person is holding in their heart and mind towards you, Sagittarius. Spirit, show us what's going on in the heart and mind of Sagittarius's person. Where are they at in their heart and mind in this connection in regards to their Sagittarius, their Sag? Let me get a few more shuffles in here, Sagittarius. Spirit, show me in no uncertain terms where Sagittarius's person is in their heart and mind towards Sag. And the word where came up very strongly. For some of you, your person may not be physically present with you. They may live in another place, another city, is what I'm picking up. All right, Spirit, let's get it. What does my Sag need to know about what's going on in their person's heart and mind? One more shuffle, and I'll lay out the cards. All right. Your first message is the Two of Swords in the reverse, followed by the Chariot in the reverse. We have Strength. And we have This Is the Way It Came Out in the reverse. And this is a card that's very, that's just in this deck. All right, Sag. Oh, Lord. What's going on in the world? I think all the love messages I've been doing lately have been very interesting in these types of ways. Okay. So we have the Two of Swords in the reverse, along with the Chariot in the reverse. And what I'm seeing here Sag, is um, as I laid out this, sorry for bumping you there. As I laid out this two of swords in the reverse, I distinctly heard you think your person is is blocking you. You think your person is dragging their feet as far as this connection is concerned. You think your person has um, closed the door on you in some cases, or for others of you, when I say close the door, I mean close the door of their heart. You think your person won't let you in, or let me be more specific. You think that your person won't allow anyone into their heart space, you included. And that is not the truth from what I'm getting here. They are not closed off emotionally. However, they may have made a decision to close off emotionally to you. In other words, the reason I bring this up is because some of you are sticking in there and sticking in these connections, Sag, because you think, okay, this person has had certain things happen to them. I know this. And so they are closed off. So I need to just be patient and melt their heart so that they open up to me. And that is not the case here. They are not closed off in the way that you perceive them to be closed off to other people, other love connections, as far as like if they were with someone else, that would not necessarily be the case, right? Even though that's what you are thinking, they're not closed down emotionally. They are choosing, it's a choice to not open up in this way with you. Okay. Again, I apologize because I know sometimes, I know a message like that can come across harshly and feel bad when we're saying that about a love connection, right? And I don't do it to hurt you, Sagittarius. I do it because I have a commitment as a reader to tell the truth as it's shown to me. And to know the truth means you can now formulate your next set of actions to strengthen yourself, okay? And to honor yourself and your self love, right? So I'm seeing that they're not really closed off in that way. It is your perception. It's how you're choosing to perceive it. It may be where they have led you, they may have led you into believing this to be the truth, right? And it's simply not. It's not the truth. They're not closed off in that way, right? And and then with this chariot in reverse, the moving things forward in a direction that you would like to see things go, what you're waiting for there is you're waiting in vain, so to speak, because this person does has no intention on moving forward, right? With strength, I'm just seeing that they are they are this person in the card, and you are represented here by the lion. They're just kind of like petting you. Okay, Sag, In other words, they are not confronting or putting things out there for you straightforwardly, right? Like this perception that I'm talking about here of them being closed up. They're doing it in a very subtle manner. They know that in order to control this situation with you, Sagittarius, they have to be subtle in their control tactics. You are dealing with someone who is controlling, right? And so from an emotional standpoint, they know you're smart, and you have all the brilliance and the virility and magnitude of the lion. Like you are that one, right? So they know that to try to control you in a way that's overbearing is not going to work. You're not going to allow that, right? You know you're better than that. What they know they have to do is very subtly, in a more of a manipulative manner, they have to enact their control over you so that they kind of like rock you to sleep with it, right? Like it has to be very gentle. It has to seem like your idea. It has to seem like your perception. Okay. So that's the way they have set up the situation, and that's the way they continue to work in this connection with you, right? With this is the way, showing up in the reverse, you know, how you're seeing or what your thoughts of how you'd like to see this move forward, this connection move forward, or will this connection move forward? Well, this is not the way. This may not be the person, who is best for you moving forward. Okay. And especially, um, when you release your defensiveness, right? You cannot sit in front of this person defensiveless, because they will take advantage of that. Does that mean they're the most horrible, wretched person around? No, it just means that they're a very controlling person, and that this will never go in a way that they choose for it not to go, and they are not choosing it to go forward in a way of love, bliss, next level commitment. They're choosing not to do that. So, for you to be defensiveless with a person who doesn't have what the same goal in mind for the relationship is not you taking care of yourself. So, remember, if we go back to the oracle message at the beginning of your reading, we're talking about you standing for what you want, and taking the world by storm in that way, taking your relationships in that way, knowing that you don't have to be afraid. You just have to trust in your own ability to take care of yourself. You have to trust that if you find yourself in a situation that is not best for you, or with a person who starts to exhibit, traits that you know are leading you down a path to nowhere, you know that no matter what you're feeling emotionally or how you may have liked that person, you also are strong enough and have the ability to show them the door. So that's what we're talking about here when we say this is not the way in the reverse, or this is the way in the reverse. Okay. Which equals this is not the way. Okay. So that is what Spirit is speaking to here. So, Spirit, let's get a road going forward that is the way for my Sages, because I don't want to leave my Sages on the road and say it's blacked. Let's go ahead and talk about what is the way forward for my Sagittarius. All right. And Sag, again, this is your warning so that you make right choices. Keep that in mind. Perceive it as such. It's not that it's such a negative message for you, it's actually a positive message, um, in that now you know what's not possible in a situation. You can go make what you want to see for yourself happen. You can make it possible, right? It's how you're perceiving this message. So as I shuffle, I'm asking Spirit to give me the way forward for our lovely Sages. Let's just get a message to go out the door here for my Sages. And Sag, if you haven't already, this is a great time for you to join the tribe. I would love to have you by mashing that subscribe button. All right, let's get it going. Let me get my last word for the Sag. First, we have the Nine of Cups in the reverse. the Seven of Pentacles, and the Four of Wands in the reverse. So yeah, Spirit's doubling down on this not being the way, this not leading to the stability that you would like to see in your life, and this not being what you want. The Nine of Cups is the wish card, right? With it being in the reverse, this isn't what you want. There may be some elements within this connection that you're viewing as what, you're seeing what you think you want, but ultimately it is not going to end up being what you want. But interestingly enough, between this not being the stability, not being the commitment, because the Four of Wands in the upright is a card all about commitment, even marriage. With it being in the reverse, that's not the case here. And with this Nine of Cups in the reverse, sandwiched in the middle is the Seven of Pentacles, which is all about building up, laying the groundwork and building up what it is that you want for yourself. Because this person is waiting for the return of their harvest. Now, Spirit is being clear, of course, that this connection may not be that harvest that you're waiting for, but it's not for naught, is what I'm getting here with this Seven of Pentacles being sandwiched between these two cards. It's not for naught, because if we really sit down and examine this, Sagittarius, you have learned so much as a result of being in this connection. And you have, for many of you, what I'm seeing is you have coexisted in this connection in a very different way than you have in any other connection that you've been a part of. And that has been freeing for you in so many ways, right? You have learned a lot about yourself, your self worth, and how to stand up for yourself. And now, Spirit is like, your coins are lined up and you're actually more ready for what it is that you desire than you think you are. And you don't have to walk around in a defensive stance because of that. You have built up a treasure trove of self-love, of self-worth, of knowledge in regards to how to interact in a connection so that you are ready for the real thing when it shows itself. And that's a beautiful thing, okay? Because now we know that it all comes down to timing, and not really timing, but more or less just being in the right place at the right time, so that when that right person, your divine masculine or divine feminine, steps into the room, you're ready. That's not the case for everyone, but that is the case for you, Sagittarius. All right. So, for all of my lovely Sagittarius, thank you for waiting through to the end for your message. And for all of you Libras and Scorpios who decided to stay, thank you for hanging out. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next message. Subscribe on your way out. I love you.